It's the prime time of my life, doing what I always dreamed I'd do. Feeling free and being me in the prime time of my life. Fear is wrong and change is also right. I gotta keep my dreams right inside in the prime time of my life.
Good evening, I'm Jim O'Brien. Of all things, a science course helps kids help themselves at Brandywine High School near Wilmington, Delaware. The course has taken top honors for teaching kids how to deal with life's difficult problems in the world outside their classrooms. Knowing about sulfuric acid, differential equations, and the nervous system of the nematode worm, it doesn't amount to a whole hill of beans to most students right now. Later, when some of them are doctors or scientists, that information will be useful, but that's still a ways off. On the other hand, knowing why kids commit suicide, use drugs, run away from home, or get pregnant is immediately useful. That's why a pioneering course called Human Ecology gets an A rating from these students at the Brandywine High School near Wilmington.
So I'd like to introduce Linda, and she's going to share with you some very interesting information.
The next thing I'd like to talk about is chromosome.
You learn more about people, and you can deal with their problems after having this course. And the chapter with suicide, you have some of your close friends have these problems, and you don't really quite know how to handle them. And after taking this course, you learn how to deal with them.
She asked, and then she looked under the steps and saw Walter. "Oh, you poor bird," she said. "Herman, you leave that bird alone." When he reached the house, he made...
As part of the course, students spend 20 hours outside the classroom in the real world. They help out in hospitals, in centers for the handicapped and the elderly, and in schools. They serve anywhere in the community where volunteers are needed. In this way, they learn the importance of caring for others. And being in a situation where they're needed and thanked, they learn to care about themselves. Human Ecology. It's about the conservation of human values, the science of keeping yourself together in a confusing world.
Good time.
Whoever finds the plastic egg with the penny in it can trade it in for a brand new car or something. I don't know.
As part of the course, I got involved in a program called People to People, which is made up of a bunch of Brandywine High School students who go over to Lombardi Elementary School and take part in a Big Sister, Big Brother program.
Keep digging. I saw one. There it is.
That program is made up of second and third graders who are teamed up with a high school student, either a senior or a junior. And we just spend an hour and a half a day playing with them and teaching them and having fun. The point of that is to let little kids know that they can rely on more than just their parents and have a friend too.
The Human Ecology course is a hit not only with students, but also with teachers who say that you simply can't cram all of science into a book and expect it to live. Today, guest lecturer Linda Nicholson is explaining how poor nutrition during pregnancy can cause birth defects. She's a geneticist at the Alfred I. DuPont Institute that's a world leader in children's orthopedics.
I've been coming to talk to the students here for about 2 years, and it's been a way for me to kind of get my message out to these kids, and I think it's been a way for them to hear from me what kinds of things are available to help them should they have children. And
about good science teaching gets around. When the National Science Teachers Association heard about Brandywine's Human Ecology course, they gave it their top award. Only 6 schools in the entire country were so honored as centers of excellence. Association President Bob Yeager wants the prize-winning Human Ecology course to become a model.
It's very important for a science program to be tied in with the human being, tied in with what people do, because certainly we're living in a science technological society, and yet in most cases we find that the science program almost ignores society, almost ignores what's going on locally, ignores basic issues, ignores anything that could tie into personal needs of kids. So we're very anxious to see a different kind of science that would be appropriate for all people.
Brandywine football's #1.
Okay, right foot.
Ready?
Okay, Kathy's right.
And if you remember in the beginning of the year, I told you that we could stop all basic research, medical research at this point in time, and if we just were able to get the information out that we know concerning birth defects and physical handicaps and how maybe getting that information to young people before they reach their child rearing period, where they become reproductive, we could cut in half almost the number of birth defects and physical handicaps and problems dealing with mental retardation and all of that in the next generation.
Too often, rewarding and joyous are adjectives that are left out by teachers when they describe their jobs. But with Dr. Frank Castelli, you have to say that he teaches with joy and dedication. In 1980, he introduced the experimental course in human ecology. No assignment has ever given him more satisfaction.
I think we are approaching a point in time where we would like to see a course like human ecology be mandated for all students in the high school, and specifically the community service aspect of it. Even if a student doesn't take human ecology, this is a public school. This public school owes the community that established this school something. Public education, we're always being charged with, you're raising our property taxes, you're taking our money, what are you doing for us in return? We think that every student that graduates from a public high school, whether it be here in Brandy or in any part of the country, should be mandated to give back something to the community. In the Human Ecology program, we're asking each student to return to the community 20 hours of service.
You have to, because I said jump me. Oh no! I didn't even see that. Huh, got you that.
Don't always look to an institution to give community service. Look up the street. There may be a poor old woman who just broke a hip that really needs some help there. Offer your services there. And in a suburban community, over and over again, what do we find? We find a student that comes out of a house, goes into a car, and drives down the street, and 5 houses away, he cannot tell me who lives there.
Probably the happiest day in my life when I learned that the National Science Teachers Association awarded the Human Ecology program national recognition.
Jack Carney's put in over 20 years as a school psychologist. He's an expert on the real-life problems of students. He thought it was high time to get those problems out on the blackboard and study them in the classroom. And that was the beginning of the course in human ecology.
And we just don't see this as a training ground for our young people and teenagers. We see it as an actual laboratory where they can indeed go out and study these issues, like what's happening in the environment and what's happening in terms of relationships between people. Why is teenage suicide a national epidemic today? One of the reasons might be that enough kids aren't caring for each other, and we got to get that message across to them,